evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has been 32 days since the Air India flight 171 crash in Ahmedabad that killed in all 260 people. The much anticipated report came out just 48 hours ago, and it would not be wrong to say that we are none the wiser about what exactly happened on that fateful afternoon of the 12th of June that led to the first ever fatal crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. The preliminary report has been put together by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, a government agency under the Ministry of Civil Aviation. This team also had experts from Boeing, the aircraft maker, and GE, the engine maker. Ever since the report has been made public in the dead of the night last weekend, each of these entities had used the contents to give themselves a clean chit. The DGCA says that the pilots were well rested and there were no procedural issues. Air India says maintenance was proper. Boeing, of course, reiterates that the fuel switches it makes are absolutely safe. Also, the report neither admits the cause of crash nor makes any recommendations. Gives a clean chit to Boeing, to GE and Air India. But what it does not do is that it does not give a clean chit to the two pilots who are no longer around to defend themselves. The probe report does not blame Captain Sumit Sabharwal and First Officer Clive Kundar. All it does is that it doesn't clear them either. So the halo of doubt will hang on their head, because what is more convenient than two dead pilots to lay the blame on? And it really makes everybody's gut boil, your blood boil, your skin crawl on why is it being done in this way. The report just makes a mention of their one-line conversation where one pilot asked the other, "Why did you cut off?" To which the other one responds, "I did not do so." Cut off what? Who did not do what? The pilots haven't even been identified on who said what. Neither are details of the conversation before and after provided in the report. Are we supposed to imagine the rest? Are we just supposed to blame both of these? जिसको कहते हैं weakest link, kamzor kadi, because they are not alive anymore to defend themselves? What this has done is to keep the question of pilot error hanging in the air and taking it a notch further to the conspiracy theorists who have now added a suicidal pilot angle to it. A suicidal pilot? But that angle, prima facie, seems to be flawed as well, for many reasons. Captain Sumit Sabharwal, who has over 15,000 flying hours to his credit and was a trainer, so clearly the best of them become trainers, was not just a senior pilot, he was training people, which means he was amongst the top class. His neighbors say he was looking forward to his retirement, which was just months away, so that he could look after his 90-year-old mother. First Officer Clive Kundar was 32 years old and had 3,400 flying hours under his belt. He was 2 months away from his wedding. Suicidal? Sounds suicidal to you? Why would anyone at the cusp of a new life want to end it? Also, the AAIB report very clearly says that both pilots had cleared the breath analyzer test and had been found fit to fly. And if the pilot error or the suicide theory was so credible, then why are the airlines like Etihad, Singapore Airlines and South Korean Airlines ordering a fleet-wide inspection of the locking mechanism of their Dreamliners? And finally, the probe report itself mentions that in 2018, the US aviation regulator, the FAA, had red flagged potential malfunctioning of the fuel control switch for Boeing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, This is the crowning glory. The whole world was checking for this fuel switches. The FAA had warned us 7 years ago, but today the Director General of Civil Aviation, the DGCA, has woken up suddenly out of a slumber and has ordered checks too. Today, why? What's so special about today? These advisories had come out in 2018. Why is the DGCA waking up to them today? Not even a day or two after the crash. Why today? The Aviation Ministry has advised people not to jump the gun, but unfortunately, the narrative is already being peddled vehemently across the world.
AIB ने जो रिपोर्ट प्रस्तुत की है प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट है, तो अभी ऐसा कुछ भी निष्कर्ष ना निकाले हम, क्योंकि मेरी भी सबसे विनती यही रहेगी कि अभी तो ये प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट है, इसके बाद भी जांच जारी रहेगी। अभी उसके बहुत सारी चीजें आगे आएगी। AIB की टीम अच्छा काम कर रही है। केवल 1 महीने के अंदर उन्होंने प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट या प्रस्तुत की है।
सैबोटाज एंगल से भी इन्वेस्टिगेट किया जा रहा है।
नहीं, अभी फिर मुझे लगता है कि हम उस एंगल से नहीं देखे। ये पूरा AIB के रिपोर्ट पे डिपेंड है। अभी उन्होंने ये प्राइमरी रिपोर्ट दिया है, अभी ऐसा कुछ भी वहां पे नहीं है।
It's a typical ploy by Western organizations like the BBC to allow companies overseas, especially of American origin, to get away with slander because they know that they can. But this is not the India of yore. We're not part of your goddamn colony and never will be. So the BBC and organizations like the BBC should recognize that they are state funded, but that doesn't mean that they sponsor state fake news.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the news hour we are asking tonight: AI-171 crash report, dead pilots being made scapegoats? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.